Hello everyone, today I'll be exploring the theme of destructive pursuit of idealized beauty and perfection as portrayed in three very different art pieces of literature. The Great Gatsby, a sonnet called Upon the Breeze She Spread Her Golden Hair, and a short story, The Yellow Wallpaper. Even though these texts are completely different genres, cultures, and centuries apart, they each show how obsession with an unattainable ideal, whether it's beauty, love, or status, it can all lead to an internal and external destruction. I'm going to start with The Great Gatsby. That's my picture. I'll explain it in a little bit. So, in The Great Gatsby, the author uses Jake Gatsby's persistent chase of Daisy as a symbol of his yearning for perfection, something that ultimately led to his demise. One of the pivotal scenes that I found was in Chapter 5, when Gatsby finally reunites with Daisy after years of being apart. Fitzgerald writes, "There must have been moments even that afternoon when Daisy tumbled short of his dreams, not through her own fault, but because of the colossal vitality of his illusion." This phrase, colossal vitality of his illusion, revealed to us how Gatsby had turned Daisy into more of a symbol than a person. The literary technique of hyperbole greatly shows how his dreams are larger than life and therefore impossible for him to fulfill. Another key moment I found was in Chapter 8, when Gatsby refuses to let go of the past. He insists, "Can't repeat the past? Why, of course you can." This shows his desperate belief in reclaiming an idealized moment, as though time itself can be reversed. My artwork for this scene shows Gatsby standing in a large group of people in one of his parties. They're kind of all like distorted. Well, I tried to make it look distorted. With the green light, which is here, you can't really see it. And to me, this picture captured how the illusion of beauty and hope is always going to be there for him, but even he's surrounded by all these people and he's never going to be able to fulfill it. That's just his reality, and he just won't accept it. So that's my picture. The next one is Upon the Breeze She Spread Her Golden Hair. Sorry, my daughter's running around. In the sonnet, the speaker idealizes his muse, Laura, with an exaggerated imagery. He writes, "Her golden hair beyond the wind was streaming. Her face was full of pity, full of grace." This use of metaphor and personification turned Laura into a goddess-like figure. She becomes perfection itself, untouchable and divine. Another significant line is, "And in my heart was born that sweet disdain that makes me love and makes me feel one scorn." Sorry, my daughter again. The oxymoron, a sweet disdain, shows the speaker's inner torment. He's drawn to an ideal that rejects him. For my picture, I feel like it reflects an emotional distance. I've tried to draw like Laura, and her flowy golden hair that he obsesses about, and how it slowly just gets darker and it gets more entangled. And it represents how painful the poem starts to get the more that he starts to realize that he's being rejected. That's that one. And then for the last one is the yellow wallpaper. For the yellow wallpaper, I felt like it gave a chilling view of how idealized roles for women can damage our minds. One of the key quotes that I found was, "I don't like to look out the windows, even there are so many of those creeping women, and they creep so fast." This metaphor turns the protagonist into one of the many women trapped by societal expectations creeping silently in the background. One of the other haunting scenes that I found is the climax, where the narrator says, "I've got out at last, and I pulled off most of the yellow wallpaper, so you can't put me back." The paper to me represented the idealized image of domestic womanhood, decorative and restrictive. For my picture, I try to create like a chaotic, fragmented image of the protagonist crawling across the floor. She's trying to, I guess it's like an image of her trying to rip the wallpaper. And to me, that symbolizes that her mentality is unraveling. And the rebellion against the false perfection that imprisoned her. So in conclusion, for these three works, we see how the pursuit of an ideal, whether it's Gatsby chasing a perfect love, the sonnet, he's worshipping unattainable beauty, or Gilman's protagonist being forced into being the perfect role, it can all cause devastating consequences. These stories remind us that perfection is often than not just an illusion, and a relentless pursuit of it can break people rather than fulfill them. Thank you.